What's going on, y'all? I'm Brady, and welcome back to the channel for another book review. So today, we got an author who I've been seeing all over Book Talk lately, all over Bookstagram. Everywhere I've looked, I've seen this author, and I just had to find out what the hype was about. And that is Miss Colleen Hoover, and I'm checking out and reviewing today her book, Verity, which, let me tell you, full disclosure before we get in the review, I started on a Monday night, and I finished Monday night. I was completely consumed by this book, and it was excellent. So let's get into the plot before I get too much in the review. So this follows the story of Lowen, who is a kind of not so well known, down on her luck author who's behind on her bills and everything, and she receives an offer to finish this super well known series for this famous writer named Verity Crawford, who Verity is indisposed at the moment and is unable to finish writing the series. So the Crawford estate, the husband, Jeremy, extends an offer and kind of sees if she would be willing to write the ending of these books. So reluctantly, she agrees because she needs the money. So she goes to the house and she is looking through the notes and trying to see what Verity wanted for the rest of the series. And what she discovers when she's going through the notes of Verity Crawford's is an autobiography that shows a very shocking side to this super well-known author. And our main character, Lowen, is kind of struggling with whether to bring to light these dark secrets of Verity's. And so, like I said, it goes from there. And I don't want to say too much more because it's a doozy. So really, I don't have any cons. Like, I enjoyed this book from start to finish. I just had a blast when I was reading it. Like, it was just so, like, I need to know what happens. It was truly, in every word, in every sense of the word, it was a page turner. It was one of those, like, okay, just one more. And next thing you know, you're 330 pages into it and you're finishing it. You just have to know what's next. And it starts out at a sprint, like, pacing wise, perfectly paced. She did an excellent job with that. It starts out at a deadbolt sprint. I'm telling you, you pick this book up next time you go to a bookstore or you get a sample off the Kindle store. Read the first sentence and tell me you don't need to know what happens next, because I promise you're going to. You're going to just burn through it, and it never slows down really. Like, it stays at that intense pacing where it's like, you just need to know, you need to know. There's always, obviously, there's going to be some slight dips, but never anything where it just bottoms out, which is incredibly impressive for a 330 page book. So like I said, it's something I was super excited to get into, and it's really nice because it's kind of this romance it's a romance book, but it's also a thriller at the same time, and it blends those two together very nicely in a way that I have not read many books that I would consider a good romance and a good thriller. I think some books have good components of each or are good of one or the other, but this is a very nice blend. So next up, I think the characters in it were great. It's a very small cast. You don't need many characters in a book like this, but they're deep, in my opinion. Like, they got a lot of complex emotions and they struggle with things, and that really comes through in Hoover's writing, which I was super into reading. Just kind of seeing, like I said, this is a lot of trauma, a lot of just bad things have happened to some of these people, and just seeing how they deal with it and seeing how people with different traumas interact and kind of express those. And I feel like there's a lot of those underlying tones that you get to see in these characters, which came through nicely in her writing. Like I said, the ending, like, I thought I had this book pegged pretty early. I like to think of myself pretty good generally at pegging, like, okay, there's going to be a plot, there's going to be a big twist here, or this is kind of where the story's going. You know, I thought I had it. And up until the end, when we were closing in on that final little bit, I was like, I got it. Like, I knew this from the beginning, what was happening, kind of where it was going. And then it turns it on its head. And I'm still questioning, like, wow. Like, it was truly one of those mind-blowing ones that, like, it caught me off guard. And I try to be super wary of stuff like that. I try to not let myself get just blown away by stuff like that, but she just did so good with it that I feel so good. And I shouldn't say I feel good about how it ended, but you know what I mean. It's one of those, like, it was a nice surprise. It was one of those, like, oh, I didn't expect it, but I'm glad it happened that way. It was something I was just super excited to read. And also, something I really appreciated in this book was the way it dealt with some pretty taboo topics. So it deals with a very different perspective of motherhood, and something that normally people don't see in like love and obsession, and how these things kind of groove and go together. And I thought she handled it very well and made for a super interesting story. Something I also love is the way the structure of the story is framed around her reading this autobiography. So you actually read Verity's autobiography in the book. So you're reading what Lowen is reading, and then you get to see how Lowen interacts with what she just read, how she kind of is like blown away or frustrated or mad or just disgusted by what she's read. And you get to see these emotions that it's having on her, and kind of get to feel a lot of those similar emotions because you actually get to read the text. It's not like you're being told, like, this is what it said, or like this is what happened. You're reading what our protagonist is reading and feeling very similar emotions. So there's a lot of connectivity with characters in the story that way. But like I said, all in all, this book is bingeable. Hoover had her bar here with hype coming in this book for me was massive. Like, thought there was no way she would live up to it, and she somehow took it a step above and exceeded the hype that I had for her as an author. And like I said, I'm blown away. I already have bought 2 of her other books, which I'm excited to dive into maybe late this month, early next month. We'll just have to wait and see if I can stick to my TBR for the month. But like I said, all in all, it's one I definitely recommend that you check out as soon as you can and be ready to have your mind blown. So, like I said, that's all I got for you guys today. But until next time, stay reading, y'all.